ॐ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ॐ Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Shri Krishnaya Namah. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 15, known as Purushottama Yoga, verse number 15. Lord Krishna speaks of Vibhuti, the divine Vibhuti, divine glory permeates this universe. Mind stays conditioned. The world is filled with divine presence. You remember the story of 3 fisher women. They worked whole day with great labor, and they were returning home and became extremely, the atmosphere became charged with humidity. Clouds had gathered and it was going to rain and there would be some storm and thunder. The women sought refuge with a gardener, and gardener was happy to welcome them. And being a very hospitable personality, decorated the hut in which they were going to rest with all the best of flowers. But when the women started to relax, one of them complained, "We can't sleep. We don't have that wonderful smell of the ocean, and especially the fish. How can we sleep?" So one of the 3 was very intelligent. That is a simple method. Put the fishing net on your nose, sprinkle little water, practice deep breathing. And that fragrance of the fish will drive away this fowl of this garden. That's what they did. The moral of the story, this predicament is for every soul in this world. The world is filled with divine fragrance. Divine presence is the highest, the most thrilling to the mind, to anything. Satchidananda is the reality, the very fabric of this whole world process. And if your nose is clear, it will be fragrant. I'm speaking allegorical language. In other words, if your vasanas, subtle desires, they are the fishing net. Every soul goes on creating vasanas in a world where you could allow yourself to dance with joy and be in constant ecstasy. Siya Ram Main Sab Jag Jani, the whole world is permeated by God. There is no room for sorrow, misery, fear, atank, distress. But all this I'm speaking is a very ideal state. That's what you are aiming for. And goal is not so simple. So having listened to it, don't expect yourself to be in a dancing position. But at least you are getting the key. How to handle, how to look at the world, how to go on working towards changing the angle of view. And that's where your spiritual enrichment lies. As vasanas change, the subtle impressions of the subconscious as they begin to change, and replaced by Shubha Vasanas, the experience of sweetness of surrender, expansion of samadhi, and various expressions of divine love. All these go on creating impressions. And ultimately, the most profound impression is the understanding, the intellect that has become clear, Viveka Buddhi, that all this is Brahman. Brahma Satyam Jagana Mithya. Brahman alone is reality. Brahman, the absolute self. If it is hard for you to understand, try to follow the simile of the sun and lots of illuminations. On the earth, you are enjoying illuminations of the sun. They go on changing and they are vast. But behind all illuminations, what is the reality? The sun. Behind all your experiences are possible because of your awareness, consciousness. But behind all the shifting experiences of pleasure and pain, what the reality? Absolute consciousness. That's like the sun. That's the absolute Brahman. And Gita has introduced to viewing this predicament of relativity of the world in three aspects. Pujak, every aspirant should feel, I am a worshipper. Pujya, God is being worshipped. And all that you face in your life is puja samagri, the materials for worshipping that God. And all these three aspects disappear in Brahman, the absolute self. 15th verse, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattaha smritirjnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvairhameva vedyo vedanta kridveda videva chaham. I abide in the heart of all beings. Take each statement as a basis for your mental movement, basis for your reflection, meditation, and a sense of enjoyment. I abide in the heart of all beings. God is not distant. Is He listening to your prayers? Even prior to listening, He is allowing you to pray. He is the Antaryamin in every living being. God is the indwelling presence. But not only that, if you want to be more profound, every object of the world is indwelt by God. If you are wearing lots of cotton clothes, cotton is indwelt in all your clothes. Speaking in figurative language. All the waves of the ocean are indwelt by the ocean. To understand, when you say indwell, you start thinking of, do I have space enough in my heart to have Lord Shiva to come in along with Ganesha? I'm joking. So, that's first vibhuti, the indwelling self in all. Therefore, your attitude has to also change. Ghat ghat mein hai Sai Ramata. God dwells in every heart. So therefore, be careful. Don't act abruptly with people. Because you may feel like reacting to people who are difficult, who are crooked, etc. But behind the external appearances of animosity or lack of animosity, deep down everyone is indwelt by God. Your goodness will work in a most profound manner. जो तोकों कांटा बुए ताहि बोई क्यों फूल. Those who sow thorns for you, sow flowers for them. Don't degrade yourself to their level. When you react to the negative personalities, in the same manner that the negative personalities act, then what's the difference between you and those people? Tai, just to give you the meaning of that. Jo tokon ka tabu hai, those people who sow thorns for you, sow flowers for them. Don't take it literally, you must understand what it means. Toko fool ke fool hai. You have handled nothing but flower. So don't complain. Vako hai tirshul. The general idea is those people who have hurt you should be punished. They should receive the fruit of their negative karma. So your mind is waiting with suspense. What will happen? Will the person get the punishment? The saintly statement is a tricky statement. It says that one will have a tirshul of Shiva, trident going after his neck. What does that imply? It doesn't literally imply that your enemy is going to be beheaded or pierced, but it simply means when Shiva's tirshul goes after any soul, it changes three aspects of experience. The subject, your enemy will begin to understand, I am related to God. Sanamati will develop in your enemy. The world that enemy faces with all anger and hate, that world will not be there to amuse his anger. The world changes. The interacting experience changes. And that transformation is the best punishment. Figure that out. And that's the essence of all religions, if religions are studied in a proper way. How to develop that divine love in your heart, that any action or reaction that emanates from you promotes goodness, awakens goodness, good potentiality in others. Being good is the healthy state of consciousness. And if you become good, you become kind of a doctor, promoting goodness in others. And a doctor does not hate a patient. If he does, that's not a doctor. All people who are crude, inimical, they are as if sick. And your heart must turn to them with compassion. Practical level is a different matter. In practical world, you have to face situations in a practical way. But in your heart level, prayer, let they be enlightened. Let them attain real joy. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. May all be happy. Sarve santu niramaya. May all be free of troubles. Let not never imagine or curse people. Let this person go to hell. In the morning you said, let him be in heaven. By the evening, let him go to hell. That attitude should not be there. It should be always. Let God within him shine. Sabko sanamati de Bhagavan. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu. May everyone behold and develop a vision that has a clarity without obstruction. So that's all that I described was on one aspect. I abide in the heart of all beings. The function of memory and knowledge, as well as their loss, are caused by me. The Sanskrit word says smriti. Suddenly certain memory comes into your mind. Suddenly your mind begins to see things in a particular way. That's led by, it doesn't happen just by accident. Led by way you are doing your sadhana. The type of karma is operating through you. If a negative karma starts operating, your mind begins to get negative memories from the past. And that goes on day by day. If you are keeping your life flowing towards God with devotion, God manipulates your memory, allows your memory to be more dynamic in a spiritual way. You begin to not only develop a kind of a spiritual recollection that after all, I am not the body. I am the eternal soul. But that's, again, I said it. These things are easily said, and it should be remembered. But your actual realization will take its own course. And again, if you are ready, realization can be within a moment. Memory, knowledge, what type of knowledge, to what degree you get, as well as their loss, they are all caused by me. Now, one statement there, their loss, the Sanskrit word vismaran, that relates to highest attainment. When you are dreaming, so many things you are remembering in your dream. Wake up from your dream, the entire memory is set for keeping the record of your dreams moves away. The ultimate vismaran is the result of enlightenment. It is I who am to be known by the Vedas. That's what the Upanishad says. What is that? Knowing which all is known. That's what Vedas, the essence of Vedic knowledge, Vedic teaching relates to. I am the knower of the Vedas. If you really know the knowable, knowing Brahman, you become Brahman. Become term is figurative. You realize Brahman. When you know certain things in the world of relativity, you become somebody else. You are poor and suddenly realize in your bank a lot of money has come. now become rich. In the world of relativity, the term become is effective. But when you realize Brahman, you don't become. What you have been, essentially, you realize this is what I am. While you are dreaming, you are constantly becoming something. When you wake up, all becomings of the dream stop. And I am the author of all the Vedas. In 16th verse, Dvavimau purushau loke ksharashchakshara eva cha ksharah sarvani bhutani kutastho kshara uchyate. There are two purushas in the world, kshara and akshara. Kshara means perishable, akshara imperishable. The world of matter is kshara, constantly changing. Your body is kshara. Your senses, your nervous system, your mind, your intellect, they all come under kshara, perishable. The soul in you is imperishable. And God is the essential, not completely essential. God is the ideal that your soul must go after through devotion. That God is Purushottama. Let me first point out to you, generally, Prakriti is described as feminine in Sanskrit language. Brahma Sutras have used Prakriti as Pradhan, as masculine. So don't get confused if you are a student of Vedanta, because it doesn't mean anything. When you call Vayu, wind as Vayu, it is masculine. When you call the same wind Samir or Hava, then it becomes feminine. The language has nothing to do with strict points. There's no masculine, feminine in a profound way. So there are two Purushas, Prakriti, matter, and soul that evolves through Prakriti. And then there is Purushottama, God, who is guiding the soul and constantly in touch with the soul, leading the soul to evolve. Uttabaha purushastvanyah paramatmetyudahritah yo lokatrayam avishya vivartatya vyaya ishwarah. Purushottama is the Supreme Self or God. The term Purushottama is the best of souls that relates to God, different from Jiva, different from the soul. That is called Akshara Purusha, imperishable soul. And Prakriti is called Kshara Purusha, a perishable Purusha. Like a wave is different from ocean. Similarly, like God is like the ocean. Purushottama is not beyond the Jiva, but the reality of the Jiva, the best of all conscious beings. For easy understanding, think of reflected suns in jars of water. There are countless reflected suns. They are jivas. Souls in each of you. They are reflections in the mental process. Mental process is like water. And that mind is reflecting God. And that reflection is what you are, your identity, your ID. But no matter how trembling a reflection may be in a jar of water, that reflection is the reflection of the sun. If you were to raise a question, does the sun ignore its reflection? Does your shadow ignore you? That should figure that out. In other words, it's not impossible. God cannot ignore any soul, any language that God is angry and pushes the soul to misery, that comes from human mind. God is the source of all joy, the constant source of inspiration. Uttamaha purushastvanyah paramatmeti udaharitah yo lokatrayamavishya vibhartya vyaya ishwarah. The best of souls is different from these two. Purushottama, God, is different from Jiva, the soul that is evolving, and the world of matter that allows the soul to flow. Paramatma is different. He is called the Supreme Self, who, though immutable, controls and sustains the three worlds by his Maya Shakti. Prakriti is described in Vedanta philosophy as magical power of Brahman. And all the Prakriti has done is nothing new. Brahman himself, just like all the sun has created, is nothing but the sun itself. All that Brahman has created through Prakriti, all that world that is created in your dream is nothing but your own consciousness. But consciousness gets into a kind of Maya. The whole dream world arises. Pure consciousness has become overpowered by Maya, by magical process. Yasmat ksharamati-toham aksharaadapi chottamaha atosmi loke vedecha prathitaha purushottamaha. The best of souls, Purushottama, is different from these two. The role of God is different from the role of Prakriti and the role of Jiva. He is called the Supreme Self, who, though immutable, controls all and sustains the three worlds by his Maya Shakti. Whenever we talk of three worlds, people start putting their eyes down, here, up. Real three worlds relate to experiencing the world through your mind and senses, the practical world. That's Bhurloka. The world of your sentiments, that world is vaster than this physical world. That's called Bhuvarloka. The world of your understanding, intellect, ego level, that world is Suvarloka. Three lokas have blended in your daily life. If you want to advance, the spiritual advancement has to affect all the three layers, three levels of your personality. Three are all blended in a profound way. So, if you begin to develop good feeling, it has its effect on your physical body. begin to promote good health, it has its effect on your feeling and your understanding. So your understanding, feeling, and your practical reality, all these three lokas are dominated by God. Worshipping God will change these three lokas in a profound way. Also understand, the ultimate goal is not to stay with lokas, otherwise you become a loco. Therefore, sannyasis get the vrata, the resolve. Bhuh sannyastam maya, I have renounced the physical. Bhuvar sannyastam maya, you renounce the world of sentiments, feelings. Swah sannyastam maya, renounce the intellect, ego. I am beyond all this. This should not be a big problem for the mind. Whenever you go to sleep, you become a sannyasi. Bhuva sannyastam maya, bhuva swah sannyastam maya. That's the ultimate goal. To stay confined to the three lokas, that seems such a reality for every individual. But it is just like becoming identified with a cell phone. Some people do become identified. Cell phone will make them cry, make them laugh. sit with the cell phone. The whole world is a cell phone. In a very profound way, human personality is a cell phone. All experiences depend upon a little brain and nervous system and psychic centers. Yo mameva masammudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. O Bharata, which means Arjuna, the undiluted one who knows me as Purushottama, the wise one, worships me with all his heart. This is the profound mantra for attaining the highest goal, and which implies worshipping God with all your heart. How will it be possible? Follow the 3 points for understanding. View yourself as a pujak, as a worshipper. God is puja. God is being worshipped. And all the materials that you use for your existence, all your experiences are like flowers. But this is a high ideal. But you start your life with ritual performance. Just like you sit in your temple, your puja room, you have your Ishta Devata is puja. And every day you collect new flowers and you offer to the deity. You are the pujak, you are the worshipper. Flowers are the puja samagri. Also use incense and other things, they are all puja samagri. And the deity is being worshipped. This sets a sattvic basis for your mind. And it's always just like you want to get into a profound project, but your project is supported by your sitting on a little bench or a little chair. Ritual aspect is like a chair, you sit upon it. The real aspect is in life. In life, day by day, when challenging situation comes, don't forget God. Every challenging situation, a difficult situation, you have picked up thorn instead of flower. But it's a part of flower. Good situations, they are good flowers. I'm summarizing, I'm giving a very essential aspect. Otherwise, it's a profound topic. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Lord Krishna says in the Gita that the devotee offers to me leaf, patram, pushpam, flower, fruit, or water. You take it literally, but there is mystical meaning. Patram aspect means doing karma yoga, allowing your heart to be purified. Pushpam, flowers, developing divine virtues. Phalam, developing deep devotion. Toyam, dhyana, developing that brahmakar state of the mind that washes away all impurities and removes ignorance. Jnana Ganga. How deep you can to go, that depends. But the basic message of this chapter is to understand these 3 points. You are worshipper. God is being worshipped. And all your situations and circumstances, including your body, mind, are materials of worship. Them towards that worship. Iti guhyatabam shastram idamuktam maya nagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat krityascha bharata. O sinless Arjuna, thus have I explained to you this scripture containing the supreme secret. Having known this, one becomes enlightened. He thereby accomplishes all that is to be accomplished by him. Realizing this self means fulfilling all your desires and aspirations forever. Developing a sense of having accomplished all that is to be accomplished. Nitya Tripti, eternal fulfillment. And that's the goal of every soul. Instead of tumbling in a world of time and space constantly. And in every embodiment, you go through a whole life process. So vast. But then the entire story of your life goes into garbage can. And you get into another embodiment. Your previous life and its stories may stay as a history, or ultimately even history goes on being blown away by wind. Imagine millions of embodiments, each one have you experienced. All the stories that have gone on, fortunately they are not before you. Even the stories of just few lives before, they're simply a big burden on your mind. Again, the essence of all these teachings. Therefore, bring integral yoga in your daily life. Change your attitude to your duties that you do and the way you deal with others. Be good, do good. That should be your formula in that level. Along with it, develop bhakti. How much can I develop a link with God, a touch of a divine presence? And that touch is effective when you see, you repeat divine mantra, you pray, and your burden is lifted. And you get a different type of angle of understanding. That if it is not happening, imagine it is happening. Keep your mind with a positive affirmation, because that is the truth. Allowing your will to be strong, implying, and that depends upon your controlling your mind. Raj Yoga deals with all that topic. How to practice concentration, meditation, leading to samadhi. How to handle the mind in a way that intellect shines with purity and mind is guided in a divine way. That becomes possible as you practice meditation in a profound way. So in other words, in daily life you are practicing karma yoga, doing your duties in a special way. Bhakti yoga, dealing with your sentiments and feelings in a profound way. Dhyana yoga, you're dealing with your mental resolves and mental will. There is always the mind goes on willing or kneeling. And finally, Jnana Yoga, a profound awakening. I am not this. Aham Brahmasmi. Shuddhosi Buddhosi Niranjanosi. You are pure, you are enlightened, you are spotless and free. I am that. Bringing these four, when describing it, it takes time and it has precision. Practicing it, it's a simple flow, just like a tree is growing and it's handling the nutrition coming from the roots. It's handling the energy coming from the atmosphere. It is performing photosynthesis, and many things go on in a spontaneous manner. Similarly, all these four yogas enter your personality in a spontaneous way. But in the beginning, you may give a special effort to promote different aspects of yoga until it becomes natural. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastra Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushottam Yogo Nam Panchadashodhyaya. Thus in the Upanishad of the Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of the Supreme Brahman, the scripture of yoga, ends the 15th chapter called Purushottam Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Purusha. And it's also customary, we always recite one from the next chapter. In 16th chapter, known as Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, the distinction between the divine virtues and demoniac qualities. That distinction is very important for aspirants from academic point of view. 15th chapter of the Gita concludes all the teachings of the Gita. It's a consummation of all the wisdom of the Gita. Now the chapters to follow, they are supplements, giving more light, more elaboration of highlighting different topics in a special way. So 16th chapter highlights those virtues that are the characteristics of your spiritual progress, as well as the means to your spiritual progress. Abhayam sattva shuddhi jnana yoga vyavasthiti danam damascha yajnascha swadhyaya tapa arjavam. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Lord Krishna said, the blessed Lord said, fearlessness, abhayam, purity of heart, steadfastness in wisdom and yoga, charity, control of senses, sacrifice, study of scriptures, austerity and straightforwardness. This is one bunch of qualities, more to come. And each quality has to be understood profoundly. This is religion in practice. With this I will conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.